guys, it's Josie with Two Sisters Homestead. So today we are going to be discussing a little bit about how you can start your homestead without having land. So I have many people in my comments usually talking about they can't wait to get land and so they can homestead and be able to do this journey just like we are. But the true fact is that you don't have to have land just to homestead. You can homestead if you live in a subdivision. You can homestead if you live in an apartment. It's not just all about having acreage and, having the chickens and all of that. There's actually more to homesteading than just a piece of land. Like, just because people have land doesn't mean that they are homesteaders or anything like that. But there's always a point where you can start no matter where you are. And I'm going to discuss with you today some of those things that you can do to go ahead and start homesteading. So let's get right into it, you guys. So the first thing that you can start doing if you don't have land yet is you can start cooking from scratch. Cooking from scratch is one of the main things that you as a homesteader should know how to do. So it's not just, just cooking just regular old meals. Like, you need to really cook from scratch. Try to learn how to make biscuits. Try to learn how to make bread. Try to learn how just to make nutritious meals that are good for your family. That would really benefit you, your family, and then also as part of homesteading. A lot of things as homesteaders is most of us have gardens and things like that, so that is a good thing to do, is try to take that garden and bring it into your food and try to cook more from scratch. So with us, we are beginning to try to do that more and more all the time. But whenever I was living in my house in the subdivision, I actually was already cooking from scratch. That's one of the things that I had started doing. I started learning how to make biscuits and breads and things like that, which is really easy to do as long as you just have a good recipe to follow and go from there. It's really good. So the next thing that you can do without land is food storage. So you don't have to, of course, you don't have to have land to have food storage. You can go ahead and start saving food like flour. Like, I have my 5-gallon buckets here at the house. I have flour in one, I have sugar in another one, and we are about to be getting another one for rice. We have a big bag of rice, but we just need to get a container to put it in to keep it safe and for it to be able to keep longer and not anything get into it or anything like that if that was to happen, just because you don't want anything into your long-term food storage because you can lose all of that food. Also, dry beans is a good one as well. Having dry beans on your shelf is always a good solution. They're really easy to make for you to be able to eat them. And just try to buy bulk if you can. Azure Standard is a good place to get your bulk food from. Sam's Club, Costco, all of those things are really good places where you can help build your food storage. So one of the things that I would do to help build that food storage was I would go to the store and like say I needed a bag of rice, I would get 2 bags of rice so that I could have that on my pantry and I wouldn't have to worry about running out. And then I would do that, like account that into my budget every so often. Like, I would have let's say $20 or $30 a week that I put to my budget for my food, just for to stock up in something. And each time was different. Sometimes I might do flour, sometimes I might have done sugar, I might have done different pasta noodles, pasta sauces before I had a garden and things like that. Another thing that you can go ahead and start doing that you don't have to have land for is growing your food. I'm trying to get out the sun. My eyes are burning. Is growing your own food. So when you are growing your own food, you can grow your food anywhere. You can grow them on your windowsill in your kitchen or wherever that has good lighting. You can also grow food if you're on an apartment. You can do it on your balcony. If you're in a subdivision, you can have a few raised garden beds. You can have an in-ground garden if you have it in your backyard, depending on if you have an HOA or not. At my house in the subdivision, I did have an HOA, but I had a fence in backyard where I could do whatever I wanted to in my backyard. And one of those things that I did was I had a few raised garden beds, and I would grow what I could in them. It wasn't a lot by any means. It was not a lot. However, I was able to grow some stuff for my family. I also had tons of tomatoes that would come. It produced really, really well for me and stuff like that. So that was really cool. So I was able to do that in a subdivision without having all of this land. I just did it in my backyard. I still had tons of space in my backyard. It didn't take up too much or anything like that. However, if you are really want to grow a whole bunch of food, you could take most of your backyard with those raised garden beds or have an in-ground garden and be just fine, as long as you were okay with sacrificing some of that backyard. Another thing that you can start doing to homestead without land is going to your local farmers market. That helps, the other farmers in your area and helps support them. But then it also, you can cook with seasonal foods. One thing about homesteaders is we try to cook with the stuff that's in season. It's better for you, and you can also don't have to go to the grocery store and use whatever they're trying to pump in them. So with that, farmers markets, you can get all kinds of things from farmers market. We have one here in Central Arkansas, and it is big. You can get all kinds of things from the farmers market, all kinds of stuff, and it's really cool to go and experience a farmers market. And you can also, some of the farmers will allow you to get bulk items for a little bit cheaper cost, and then you can preserve those items so you can have them on your pantry shelf, which is amazing. Another thing is to try to learn a new skill. Like, come on now, everybody can learn a new skill and it be like amazing. So you can learn how to sew, you can learn how to crochet or knit or anything like that. I know how to do all of those three. I know how to sew, I know how to knit, and I know how to crochet. Things like that. It's a good thing to know just in case you ever needed to sew up a dress or make some washcloths or hand towels or something like that. You would be able to do it. That is a really good thing about homesteading, is that you should be able to make your own stuff sometimes if you need to. Now, being a homesteader doesn't mean that you have to do all of these things. It doesn't mean that you have to do these things every single day just to actually be a homesteader. As long as you know these skills and stuff, it's amazing. Like, you will be fine. Because with me, reason why I'm wanting to live like this and do this homestead and things like that is for when harder times come. I would be able to know these things, and I know that I know how to do them, and I brush up on my skills every now and then boom, I'm where I need to be if something was to ever happen. Also, it is really good to be able to save your own seeds so that if something was to happen, you would have your seeds in your house so that you can grow whatever seeds that you might have, which is a really good thing to be able to do as well. But you guys, I know a lot of y'all have said, little things, but there's always a way to go ahead and start homesteading from somewhere that you do not have land at, and it's okay. You don't have to have land to say that you're a homesteader. You don't have to have land. You don't have to wait to do anything just because you don't have land. Like, that's not how it is. You don't have to do that. It's totally okay to do it where you are, in an apartment or in a subdivision or neighborhood or whatever it is. You don't have to have land. So don't let that, having land deter you or anything like that, because it's not what you always have to have. But thank you guys for coming along with me. I hope you liked the video and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.